Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Wednesday, and that means Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm glad we match in purple.
There you go. Hey,
We aligned our brands.
exactly. We did that on purpose. No, just kidding. Hey, what I wanted to talk about here is I want to have a warning for folks that are that have pre-approvals in hand. I see something, and then you reminded me of something else that's going on. First and foremost, I think we said this last week, but I want to say it again. If you have a pre-approval letter that is more than 2 weeks old, I suggest going back and revisiting it. And then you're letting me know that in this desperation, because again, refi demand now down 60%, mortgage rates at 4.8, very quickly, right up 200 basis points. The mortgage industry is desperate. Lots of people are putting many lines in the water and maybe cutting corners. So pre-approvals are not maybe as solid as they used to be. So let's just remind people that they need to do their diligence and work with good operators.
Yeah, I mean, I really, as somebody who's a champion for the consumer and wants to protect consumers, it really scares me when in a given week or a 2-week period, I look at 5 or 6 egregious errors by other lenders. And I've got to be the bearer of bad news. I'm sorry. I know they told you up to 650 based on how your income is calculated, based on factoring in, those collections or your non-borrowing spouse's debt or whatever the case may be. Here's the max you qualify for. I don't want to deliver that news. And for a consumer that doesn't know any better or how it works, man, I want to go with the person who told me I could go get a loan for a house up to 650. And so avoid that. Also, I posted in the One Rental at a Time group on Facebook that chart, biggest 3-month change in interest rates since 1994. Rest assured that's going to hurt your buying power. Not everyone's at the very top of their range, but if you are, or you may be, or even if you're not, a lot of times, and I have the data on this because I'm working with hundreds of clients, somebody gets pre-approved. It's not fun. Yeah. To collect documents, go through the pre-approval process. So once you're done, you're like, okay, cool. I'm looking at houses. I'm doing the fun stuff now. But if that pre-approval is 30, 60 days old, we're going to do our best to reach out to you. Hopefully, whatever lender you're working with is doing the same. But if not, revisit and say, hey, I've got this pre-approval from February 10th. I've got this pre-approval from February 24th or March 9th. How does it look? Am I still good up to 550? You might hear, you know what? You were approved well above that. You're still free to look at 550. You might hear, based on the rates changing, 520 is your new max. Go look at houses that are listed at 475 to 500 because 520 is really the max you're gonna be able to offer. Most good lenders, I hope, are doing like we do, where even with the max, we have some wiggle room built in. If rates go up a quarter, and you get something in the contract 30 days from now, I don't want all this work, all this effort, agent writing offer, us following up, you getting your hopes up. We don't want that to happen for it to fall out. So, you've got a couple different things going on that could affect that pre-approval. One, your lender's just not being thorough enough. And we're not being thorough, spending time, energy, resources for the fun of it. We're doing it to protect the consumer. So find a lender that's doing that. All the work up front to avoid headache and heartache on the back end. And also, if you're actively looking, rates change every day like a stock. Yeah. So you need to be making sure that when you're active, it's like, okay, how am I looking? How am I looking? No lender's ever going to yell at you for checking in.
Yeah, there's really 2 things I want people to hear in this. First and foremost, thank you for being an active participant in our private Facebook group. Much appreciated. Thank you for the content you created, all that good stuff. But really, if you have a pre-approval letter that's 30 days old, you need to check in. If you have an approval letter that you think feels wonky or incomplete or inaccurate, I suggest reaching out to Matt, the mortgage guy. How do you want them to do that?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. With that quick little form filled out, you'll be in touch with the team. Whatever you're trying to do, look at a refinance, get pre-approved to buy a house. We're here. We're happy to help. I've got plenty of great One Rental at a Time clients and do exactly like they do. We've got them pre-approved. I had, probably 10 in this last week from all over. Hey, Matt, looking at a duplex, 25% down. What does it look like?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take more than a couple minutes of my day, a quick price. Hey,
Done. Yep.
that one's about 5.5 with 1 point cost, whatever the case may be, so that they can, one, know that they're still pre-approved, and two, it changes how you look at properties. And that might be another topic for us, Mike, because I realized I was looking at a duplex and I was running some numbers and I was like, oh, interest rates do change how I analyze the property.
Yeah, it is the largest monthly expense. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. One of the things, and again, we'll get into this in video too, but I finally think investors are going to have the upper hands as rates go up. Because again, we don't live there, right? There's always, and for an owner occupant, there's always this emotional thing. My kids are going to live here. We're going to go to school here. We're going to be part of the neighborhood, all those great things. Investors, I don't care if interest rates are 8%, because I'm just going to do the math. If my numbers say I got to offer 475 to make it a great deal, I'm going to offer, I don't care what the list price is. That's the seller's opinion. I only offer numbers that make my numbers work. So yeah, change the numbers, all those things. So kudos to you for that. And then the last thing, I've been doing this for a long time. I remember when lending was solid, and then when it got just careless is the kindest word I could say. Because again, I've been doing this for, like I said, 21 years before the run up. And I see, and that's why I did a video a month ago saying, warning, lenders are getting desperate. And this is what happens when they get desperate, right? People are afraid for the mortgage brokers or these body shops or whatever, they're these online things. They got a lot of overhead, right? Think of better.com. They've had 2 rounds of layoffs already and probably more coming if they're not sold for parts. And their employees are scared. It's scary. And they're going to just throw as many lines in the water. They're going to try to show their boss that they're doing great and they got the pipeline. They want to keep their job another week. This is what happens.
Right.
Shoddy work, incomplete.
Yeah, from individual loan officer perspective, this is what I see, and it frustrates the heck out of me, is consumers want a yes answer. You're willing to bend and give a yes to what you hope to be a deal with a consumer rather than give them the right answer. You know, there's great mortgage brokers out there. I tend to think of, you know, my group as one of them.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you the correct answer. I'm going to give you, you know, the true answer, and we lose business because of it. And I'm okay with that, but I'm trying to protect the consumer. And, you know, if we ask for an extra document, never mind. I'll just go with the place that, you know, told me I'm okay with less documents. Or
this is not the time for that, folks. Please hear me on this. This is not the time for half-ass kind of, you don't want a yes answer that's wrong. You want a yes answer. Because again, if you get a yes answer that's wrong, you're going to waste thousands of dollars. Pay for an appraisal you didn't need. Pay for inspections that you didn't need. If you do all of this work and you don't get the loan, sure, you can back out, but you're out thousands of dollars. Don't do it.
go to greatmortgagebroker.com. Work with a pro. The end.
Yeah, the end. And if you're in my group, you know the deal. Go to Matt the Mortgage Guy. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
Mhm.